We begin with the public hearing on the 1999 Constitution review. The Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution has commenced its North Central Zonal public hearing in Jos, the Plateau State capital. A total of 59 draft bills are up for consideration, with key proposals centered on the reservation of elective seats for women and the creation of new states. News Central's Sagir Ibrahim brings us the details.
It was a packed hall as lawmakers, civil society groups and stakeholders gathered for the constitutional review hearing in the North Central Zone. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review, Senator Lola Ashu, said the exercise aims to give Nigerians from the region a chance to influence constitutional reforms that directly impact their lives and communities.
It is committed to considering all viewpoints, all perspectives, particularly those individuals who may be unable to travel to Abuja to express their opinion. We invite you to articulate your thoughts and engage the judicial reform process, aim at strengthening our democratic structures, our institutions, and fostering unity, as well as improving good governance.
Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, in his remarks, described the hearing as a vital opportunity to reshape the country's legal and political architecture for national growth and stability.
Today, a process is beginning that gives us an opportunity to speak into that document and make sure that it captures our aspirations, our desires, our ideas of how we can live together.
Stakeholders from the 6 North Central states made robust presentations advocating for equitable representation and greater inclusion.
Of the 74 seats proposed at the National Assembly for women and the 105 proposed at the State House of Assembly, there should be a reservation for women and girls with disabilities.
We support the bill because our wives are women, our sisters are women, and our mothers are women. Thank you.
In other climes, especially in advanced countries, the issue of state police is not negotiable.
With such spirited engagement, stakeholders say the public hearing could pave the way for constitutional amendments that strengthen peace, federalism, and inclusive governance in Nigeria. In Jos for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
At the Northeast Zonal public hearing on the review of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution held in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, the clamor for new state creation as well as more women representation at the National Assembly also took center stage. News Central's Marikarawa completes the report.
A gathering that brought stakeholders across different political parties, ethnic and religious affiliations, among others. It's the Northeast Zonal public hearing on the 1999 Constitutional Review, with inputs from individuals, civil society organizations, political groups and traditional institutions, among others.
The 10th Senate constituted the Constitution Review Committee to tackle citizens' call for amendments to the Constitution.
We are here today to support the push of the reserved seats bill for women. We are supporting this bill because it's an inclusive bill.
There is no way saying Nigeria's participation in the process of amending the Constitution will strengthen the validity of the Constitution and create a sense of ownership.
Representatives from various states in the Northeast geopolitical region made a strong case for the creation of new states, including Savannah out of Borno State, Katagum out of Bauchi State, Tangalawa and Highland out of Gombe State, and Amana out of Adamawa State, among others.
We came here as a delegation not to beg or just try to plead for the creation of Amana State. We are here to demand for the correction of a historical injustice.
The aspiration of Katagum has been the front runner for almost more than 3 decades. That is over 30 years ago. And we are very unanimous in the Senate.
The agitation
for Korara State is a united agitation.
Concerns on electoral reforms, security reforms, including local government police, among others, were also on the front burner.
We unanimously disagree for moving the Nigerian Labour Congress Industrial Relations, Industrial Dispute and Minimum Wage from the executive legislative to concurrence list.
Several efforts have been made in the past to grant full independence to state legislature, but they have not yielded results.
We therefore need the sex to be scrapped and then give the powers of conducting elections in LGS to the Independent National Electoral Commission.
The Constitutional Review Committee acknowledged the widespread interest and pledged to compile and present the regional demands for necessary action. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
At the South-South Zone, the Senate Committee on Constitution Review held a public hearing reviewing over 50 proposed amendments to the 1999 Constitution. Stakeholders, including civil society groups, traditional rulers and advocacy organizations, gathered in Ikotepene to push for reforms aimed at building a more inclusive and representative nation. Top issues raised include demands for 6 new states and 3 additional local government areas, support for the reserved seats for women bill, and strong opposition to removing Labour from the exclusive legislative list.
You have a better government. You have a more effective representation. And please know that Nigerian women will respect you, especially this particular Senate.
Ogoja was the O in the core. Up till now, almost how many years now, decades now, Ogoja State has been pending. It's the oldest area of this state, of this country, the oldest province of the whole country that has not become a state. I come from the southern part of Cross River State. Ogoja is in the north. We have absolutely no problem with the creation of Ogoja State.
We're asking that there's an amendment of the sections 48, 49, 71, 77, 91, 117 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
On the entire bill, on the constitutional amendment, while our member states are robust position on all aspects of the constitutional amendments, we have presented in our memo a robust response, but the executive summary will be on the creation of Obono State.
We'll look at all the details and see if there's a problem anywhere, but broadly, we are not about to repartition the country to different parts. It's one country. And people must understand the logic. You see, as everybody wants the local government to be a country, sorry, to be a state. You are not going to spend all your national resources, services, bureaucracy, pay governors and commissioners and political appointees. You need resources for development, so people need to think twice.
In the meantime, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin has announced that the final draft of the constitutional amendment is expected to be transmitted to state houses of assembly before the end of the year. Speaking through Senate leader Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele at a public hearing in Lagos, Jibrin said the review process will address key demands from the Southwest, including state creation, state police, judicial and electoral reforms, and reserved seats for women. He emphasized that the process is not a mere formality, but a constitutional requirement to reflect the will of the people. To help make sense of this constitutional review process, we're joined by a legal practitioner, Valerian Nwadike. Thank you so much, Mr. Nwadike, for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Now, an earlier guest engaged on this constitutional review process said this is a political jamboree because of the concerns on the front burner and the design of the dialogue process. When you look at the itinerary for discussion, how do you see it?
Well, I will not call it a political jamboree because to be able to amend the Constitution successfully by virtue of Section 9 of the 1999 Constitution, which made provisions for amendment of the Constitution, there are, I think, about 6 processes to constitutional amendment. The first is the first reading, the second reading, the public hearing, I think they are in public hearing now. Then there is third reading and passage, harmonization of the bill between Senate and House, transmission to the State House of Assembly, and then adoption of reports from the State House of Assembly. So what they are doing now, I think, is public hearing, holding it in different states to get their input too. So I wouldn't really call it a jamboree. The only concern I have is that the amendments that have been made previously have not really seen strict adherence to them. So people will say, what is the essence of more amendments when the ones we already have in place is being abused? So that's just my own position on the Constitution.
No. Well, there have been also concerns as regards ambiguity, overlapping, and obsolete rules in the 1999 Constitution. Now, what are the most pertinent issues that you'd like to see addressed?
Electoral reform. Electoral reform should be at the front burner, to be honest, because there has to be electoral reform for there to be a functional democracy. When there is electoral reform, it reforms the process of electing leaders, which is it's supposed to be at the front burner because every Nigerian is shouting and screaming and crying about electoral reform. So I think that should be the priority of whoever or persons involved with regards to constitutional amendment. So anything they are doing that has nothing to do with electoral reform, in my own opinion, I would not really pay much of attention to it because you cannot place something on nothing and expect it to stand. There has to be a transparent electoral process for there to be good leadership and for there to be, will I say, peace and security in the country. So electoral reform goes to the roots of any amendment they're about to embark on.
So we're also hearing about rotational presidency, legislative seats reserved for women, demands for new states, and the likes. Are these also germane for the restructuring process? I mean, is this something that can be pulled through?
I don't believe in creating more states. Power is concentrated in the center. I would want to agree, with Adam Soshomole. He made mention of everybody trying to make his local government a state. All this creation of new states also amounts to responsibility on the part of Nigerians, because it is still Nigerians that are establishing the state, because most of the states are not even productive. Sorry to say, but that's a fact. So there's no need to create new states. What they should do is to decentralize power from the center. Power is concentrated on the center. And I feel this tax reform bill is trying to do something of that nature so that money would not concentrate mostly on the center. So states to generate their own income and use it for their development. So I think creation of new states is very unnecessary because it will cost a lot of bickering, because if you give this person, the other person would show you reasons why they want, and that person will show you reason why they. So I think it's very unnecessary. We should focus on electoral reform. If we get it right on that angle, I think every other thing will take its course.
All right, now, in the nature of Nigeria's political stance, can such a review process ensure human capital development? Can it also boost gender parity and promote inclusivity? Because those are also some of the issues plaguing the several regions.
Well, I'm in support of that gender parity. However, I just want a transparent process where everybody, regardless of gender, can equitably participate. But bringing in the gender aspect and giving some sort of socialization to women is a welcome development because it will encourage women to participate more in politics. But I love a more robust and open system where the best is being elected.
All right, Valerian, before I let you go, do you also anticipate maybe the institutionalization of local government councils this time to make them truly fully autonomous? One of the stakeholders raised these particular points during the discussion process in one of the meetings.
See, it brings you back to what I'm saying earlier. The Supreme Court has already made a pronouncement that local governments supposed not to have sole administrators or appointees. There have to be proper election. They are on their own. They are a government on their own. They shouldn't be relying on state government to give them allocation and all whatnot, because it limits their power. It makes them more like selected official instead of elected official. And the local governments, if truly independent, would bring government closer to the people, because that is actually the most important aspect of governance and government. When we started democracy, I think around 1999, I can remember, local government was fully functional. People contested for councillorship, going for meetings, contributing to development. But somewhere along the line, I have not seen such, except at least in Lagos. It's a bit better in Lagos and maybe a few other states. So when local government is actively participating in governance, the people in the grassroots will feel it more. So I'm open to anything that would give local governments its autonomy, but Supreme Court has already made a pronouncement that local government is autonomous. So instead of amending Constitution to put it there, why can't we obey a simple court order?
All right, thank you so much, Valerian Wadike, for sharing your thoughts with us on these pertinent issues.
Always a pleasure, thank you.
Yeah. Let's go on a break now. When we return, NLC kicks as lawmakers move to decentralized minimum wage. We'll tell you more in a bit. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, the 2025 Nigerian Army Day celebration is drawing to a close with less than 24 hours left before the week-long activities wrap up in Kaduna State, set aside to honor the strides made in Nigeria's security sector. The event also serves as a platform to reflect on ongoing challenges and a path to a safer nation. Friday's highlight was the NATSEL lecture themed The Soldier First concept, shaping a new culture for transformation in the Nigerian Army. Other activities included the Chief of Army Staff's Literary Competition Award, a themed historical exhibition, a media chat with top media executives, and rounding off the day, a colorful gala night. The grand finale is scheduled for Sunday. And now, News Central's Chizobanyowe, who has been on ground in Kaduna all week and has been tracking the developments, will be sharing the updates with us. Good evening to you, Chizoba. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'd like you to give us an overview of the 2025 Nigerian Army Celebration Day in terms of the key moments and discussions.
Thank you, Leko, for having me, and of course, welcome to Kaduna State. It's been a week-long event, and gradually it's coming to an end. In less than 24 hours from now, this year's event will be over. Okay, so for some days now, especially from yesterday, where there were commissioning of projects by the Chief of the Army Staff, of course, represented in some other places. He can't be everywhere at the same time. So some of the senior personnel of the Nigerian Army were in different locations to commission these projects, which, according to them, is a show of their civil-military relations with these people at the host communities, where they have their commissions, their units, and where they have their activities being carried out. And then they said the reason why Kaduna State was chosen for this year's event was because of the many formations they have in Kaduna State. And so it's part of their civil-military relations. And that was that for yesterday. But since this morning, in fact, we've been out here since like 7 a.m. to capture the other events. Of course, the first was the NATSEL lecture, where one of the former army chiefs in the country, Lieutenant General Yahaya, was on the ground to deliver this lecture. And it was based on the Soldier First concept. And for them, it's a new concept that, if gotten right from the foundation, the Nigerian Army will become a better formation. And that is why they chose that topic, where they need to train and retrain the soldiers to ensure that they have the ethics, to learn what is obtainable, especially in the world today. where you have new things coming on board, evolving each and every day to be able to combat insurgency and all forms of criminality in whichever form they may choose to come in from. So that was the essence of that lecture. And the lecture done with was the Chief of Army Staff literary competition, where the works of art, poetry, essay competition, and artists, drawing, where you see students, even in the university, and then down to a JS1 student, 11 years old, he drew a portrait of the Chief of Army Staff, and of course that of the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant Colonel Ihejurita. And so, it was to appreciate these young minds and cheer them on. So it's also a way of appreciating the host community and entire Nigerian citizenry for their cooperation, while, of course, like Oliver Twist, asking for more. And after that, there was an exhibition, theme history exhibition, that was also an opportunity to showcase the equipment used by the Nigerian Army in combating insurgency in Nigeria. And so what we have going on now, if you can see behind me, that's the hall where the gala night is taking place. And it's, let's say, unwinding, where people were called, invited to come and partake of this event, to unwind for the day's activities. Let me not forget a very important part of these days' activity, which was the media chat with some senior media executives, where they gathered to put some questions to the Chief of Army Staff concerning the security of Nigeria and how best it can be managed to have people sleep with their two eyes closed and, of course, have a safer country. And so that's the rundown of what the event has looked like since yesterday, which, by God's grace, will be coming to an end tomorrow with the grand finale of activities.
Well, very comprehensive, I must say. Thank you so much, Isabel Anyanwe, for sharing these details with us. Away from that now, the Nigerian Medical Association has raised concern over the federal government's plan to deploy doctors and healthcare workers to St. Lucia and other Caribbean nations under a new technical manpower assistance agreement. In a statement signed by Secretary General Dr. Benjamin Ebo, the NMA described the move as a deeply troubling contradiction, citing poor conditions faced by doctors within Nigeria. While St. Lucia pays its top doctors 131.7 million naira annually, Nigerian doctors posted under the TMA receive about $40.8 million, naira compared to just 11.9 million naira for those working at home. The protest comes amid growing dissatisfaction in the sector. The Lagos State branch of the NMA also rejected the federal government's proposed salary structure, calling it unjust and a threat to the nation's already fragile healthcare system. In the meantime, the Lagos State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association has rejected the federal government's proposed medical salary structure, calling it flawed, inequitable, and harmful to Nigeria's healthcare system. At a press briefing in Lagos, the association said the proposal has eroded clinical responsibility by distorting salary relativity between doctors and other health workers. It also condemned extending specialists and honorarium allowances to non-medical doctors and equating physicians' allowances with those of academic doctorate holders in allied fields. The NMA warned that implementing the structure would worsen the doctor shortage and accelerate brain drain. To discuss this, we're joined by Chairman, Nigeria Medical Association, Lagos State Chapter, Dr. Saeed Babajide. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the news.
Good evening, the viewers in Nigeria.
So let's start from the point where the Nigerian government signed a deal with St. Lucia. Now, the NMA is criticizing President Tinubu for the deal. But when you look at it, isn't it a chance for better pay, better welfare, better knowledge experience between the two countries?
Thank you very much. It's unfortunate. Probably Mr. President was misadvised in the sense that Nigerian doctors are going out of the country through the JAPA. Number one, where are they going to get the doctor? That's the first question the president should ask the person that advised him. Where are they going to get? Where you don't have, what you don't have, you can't give. Because in the country now you have shortage of doctor. Where the president get the doctor to those places? That is number one. Number two is that there is this show of insensitivity by the federal government. When your doctor are asking for good remuneration, in St. Lucia, they are paying them about 113 million annually. You want to pay somebody 40 million annually. Does it make any sense? We saw person take it. The second thing, even you are shortchanging the doctor. Somebody, I go to another country, they are paying them 130 million, and you are giving me 10 million to the same place, and be paying 10 million, even less than the half. Apart from that, in your country, you are paying around 11 to 12 million. Does it make any sense? I think the best thing I have to tell Mr. President, number one, is to reject the whole federal Ministry of Health, in the sense that any government, from the federal to the state to the local government, we are not talking about JAPA syndrome, resolving JAPA syndrome, that wasted their time. Any policy of government that doesn't relate to this is a total waste of resources. Because how do you get the doctor? How do you get the manpower? Our Minister of State and former Minister of Health and former Minister of State was saying they want to increase the medical school. When you increase medical school, what does it mean? When you increase medical school, as I'm telling you, 50% of them will leave the country. In the next 2 years, another 25% will leave. In the next 5 years, will remaining how many? What are they doing? Nigeria government has become the second after India exporter of doctors in the whole world. Even the president even make it clear to the world that by even exporting doctors.
So I know that the NMA has had several clashes with the government over wage disparity, wage dispute, and this brain drain. What has been the government's response or excuse to these?
I always say that it's unfortunately we have this type of people in the Federal Ministry of Health. Extend it to the president, in the sense that when we had what we call collective bargaining agreement about what we call the medical salary scheme, which is called commerce, from 2001 to 2024, that relativity started during pre-colonial era. When the Governor General of Nigeria leaves, the second person is the doctor. From that, we have a ratio of 4-2-1. 4 to doctor, 2 to pharmacy, and 1 to the other. Later, it became eroded to 1.5 to 1. Now, later I got to the 1.5 to 1.2 to 1. Now, at this level, what they brought us is that we are at the same level of 1 to 1. And the question is not about doctor. Even within the not doctor, let me give an example of the pharmacy. With a pharmacy allowed to be paid the same amount of money with the pharmacy technician, we are allowed to pay the same amount with the technician. If the pharmacy want to increase their years to 6 years, and pharmacy technician want to increase their years to 6 years, will they allow the same thing to be paid? The same to the medical scientists. Will they allow medical technician to be paying the same amount of money? With due respect to the cameraman, with a reporter, allow the same amount of money to be paid with the cameraman. You see, with what do you call it? Airport, airspace, with the pilot and other crew is paid the same amount of money. What we are saying is that we should maintain hierarchy, integrity about any profession. And again, what the government have done is this. They are promoting, they are increasing the number of years for other, like optometry, pharmacy, and this. But they should understand one thing. From the immemorial, university system is divided into two. We have medical and non-medical.
Okay.
When you now finish, let me just finish this one. When you finish as a medical, you end up with MD, Doctor of Medicine. But every other non-medical become what? They end up what? PhD. And the question I want to ask the government, if somebody like a doctor of pharmacy finish undergraduate, have the doctor of pharmacy, when you now go to PhD, what do you call that person? Is this super doctor? Government are not thinking.
Well, I guess the potpourri of issues plaguing the health sector. But amidst all these challenges, how true is it now that even Nigeria is underperforming based on the medical practitioners to population ratio and, of course, some allocation to the health sector?
Yes, you see, in this country, we don't do what you call health auditing. Health audit is divided into three. Number one is human resources. The second one is infrastructure. And the third one is the citizen. You can control the two. You can control human resources, you can control infrastructure, but you cannot control the population. And all these things have to go together. If population is increasing, human resources that we provide the service will increase. Infrastructure development will increase. Unfortunately, government cannot control population, which is increasing, especially in Lagos State. They are developing infrastructure development at a low rate, low level, low rate, but human resources is going down. In terms of auditing, etc., have failed woefully. Therefore, we cannot get what we don't want. Our indices will continue to derail because the people that are supposed to provide it are not there. And the government is not serious about infrastructure, but the government cannot control population. If they have the power to control population will have gone down. That's the problem. And the auditing the government should do now is to look at this parameter. Improve the human resources. How do they improve human resources? In terms of remuneration, in terms of training and retraining, in terms of providing simple welfare package. What is welfare package? The welfare package are providing housing loan, providing car loan. When you provide those things, doctors are not expensive. They will reduce.
So if according to reports now, to aggregate all these things that you've said, now St. Lucia already has between 42 and 45 doctors for about 10,000 people. But then for Nigeria, when you look at the numbers, it is terrible. So this would eventually mean that whatever it is that the Nigerian government is trying to sign with St. Lucia or probably the Caribbean countries is unnecessary and misguided.
It's totally, completely unnecessary. If they put them there, what do they want to do? Do they even need it? The question we ask ourselves, do they even need it? Is it not just ophthalmology that our government is doing around? Do they even need it? You are not solving your problem, you want to solve somebody's problem. I think government should stop that program. What they should be thinking of, do a better program. What we normally do, government normally do, when you do your residency, you have what we call overseas training, which they have stopped. They should do that one. Use that money to do overseas training for the betterment of Nigeria in terms of health sector, not wasting money unnecessarily.
Well, we hope they will take decisive steps.
I think they will do that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saeed Babajide, for sharing this important information with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We talk politics now. With the 2027 general elections in sight, political momentum is building within the All Progressives Congress. Leaders of the party in the South-South region have thrown their full weight behind President Bola Tinubu, endorsing him as the party's sole presidential candidate. At the APC South-South stakeholders meeting held in Benin City, the party also backed its 4 sitting governors in the region for re-election, calling for unity and continuity. News Central's Aminze Bazwai reports, gives us more details. We'll bring you more details of that story in our subsequent bulletins. Let's now tell you that the Nigeria Labour Congress has vowed to resist any attempt by the National Assembly to remove labour matters, including the minimum wage, from the exclusive legislative list of the federal government to the current list, where individual states will determine their workers' wages. NLC President Comrade Joe Cairo issued the warning during the National Administrative Council meeting of the Central Working Committee held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, describing the move as an exercise in futility. Cairo argued that the issue of minimum wage is treated globally as a national matter in line with International Labour Organization conventions, which regard member countries as entities, not subnational units such as states. A bit of infrastructural stories now. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has concluded 16 consecutive days of project commissioning across the 6 area councils of the FCT. The FCT minister says the completed projects are a testament to President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda aimed at transforming infrastructure and livelihoods in the nation's capital. Wike also seized the moment to respond to recent political development, particularly the emergence of a new opposition coalition. News Central Sagir Ibrahim tells us more.
16 days of back-to-back commissioning exercises wrap up in Gwagwalada with the formal opening of the Aguma Palace, Radio Nigeria New Market Road. Dignitaries arrive in the usual fanfare, and the ceremony begins as soon as the president's representative arrives. After a series of goodwill messages, the FCT minister mounts the podium and does not hold back.
They are angry that Mr. President are coming to commission project. But other people, are you angry? No! This time is what it says, Operation Show Your Score Card. From 1999, I'm in this party. 2006, I'm in this party. 2014, I'm in this party. 2019, I'm in the other party. Now 2025, I'm in another coalition. The born coalition.
He emphasized that all contractors engaged were local, in line with the president's push to grow indigenous capacity and stimulate the economy.
That is an administration that believes that we must empower, we must encourage our local contractors.
Your Excellency, having proven our capacity to you, it is our prayer that you continue to carry us along in carrying out the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented the president, highlighted the administration's commitment to delivering projects with direct impact on citizens.
What makes this moment even more remarkable is that the projects we are unveiling were not imposed from above. They were nominated by the people of Gwagwalada themselves, and this is the kind of democracy we believe in.
The high point of the event was the symbolic ribbon cutting by Vice President Shettima, officially commissioning the road and closing the 16-day commissioning trail. Residents who gathered at the event also had their say.
We are just too grateful because he has made Gwagwalada, in fact, he has given Gwagwalada a different face. Market women were appreciating. You cannot pass that road before because of the road is not good. Many women used to fall inside that gutter.
Among the commissioned projects were the newly renovated Abuja International Conference Center, bus terminals in Kugbo and Mabushi, the Apo-Wasa Road, the N16 interchange, and connecting roads across multiple districts. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
Mobility challenges continue to spark critical conversations in Nigeria, especially as authorities fall short in implementing the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act of 2018. In Lagos, a non-governmental organization took to the streets as part of its Feet of Grace walk, aiming to challenge stereotypes, misconceptions, and the stigma often associated with limb loss. News Central's Victor Mbadike tells us more.
Their bodies defy convention. Every step, a bold statement. Each stride, a silent protest against limitations. For more than 30 minutes, they walked through the streets of Maryland in Ikeja, not just as amputees, but as advocates. Their message was clear: challenge societal bias, demand respect, and assert the rights of amputees to equal opportunities in all areas of life.
Why should I have to go to the bank that I put my money into and I can't enter because the entrance is not disability friendly? Why do I go to an event center to be a part of the party and I can't go because the toilets are not disability friendly? So if you don't make the environment, the facilities disability friendly, you automatically exclude us and say we are not welcome.
Amputation may be a common surgical procedure, but for many, It marks the beginning of a new chapter, one defined by resilience and strength.
My schoolmates love me a lot. They body shame me. They don't want to associate with me. So all these things make me downhearted, and I was not happy to the extent that I don't even feel like going to school again.
I was diagnosed diabetic, so gradually the legs became affected, and it has been a challenge for me to go out to work. It has not been easy. I've not been out, but my family was there for me, and God was there for me.
Disability is not the end point of life. There's life beyond it. I've learned a lot being disabled. My life gets more exposed more than the way I was before. I've really get exposed more than and the end point of life is joy, is solving problem.
And the message we want to pass across is that disability is a thing of the mind. Disability is not inability, and there is power that we bring to the on board despite our disabilities.
This work is a reminder to the government and all stakeholders to uphold the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act of 2018. Its full implementation, especially for those who have lost limbs, is not a favor, it's a right. Until the law is fully enforced and the barriers, physical and social, are broken down, these voices will not be silent. In Lagos for News Central, Victor Mbadike.
Coming up on the news, 9 killed, 11 others injured in a road crash in northern Egypt. We'll tell you more in a short while. Do join us again. In North Africa, 9 people were killed and 11 others injured in a road crash in northern Egypt. The collision involving 2 minibuses occurred on Saturday along a busy highway in Menoufiya, about 80 kilometers north of Cairo. This marks the second fatal accident on the same route within a week. On June 27, 19 people, mostly teenage girls, working as day laborers, were killed when a truck hit their minibus. Egypt's roads have continued to record high fatalities each year, with accidents frequently attributed to reckless driving, poor road conditions, and weak law enforcement. Authorities have not yet confirmed the cause of the latest crash, but investigations have been launched as rescue efforts and medical care for the injured are underway. We now bring you sports news.
In sports, former president of Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, returns to CAF as special advisor to the CAF president, Patrice Motsepe. In a press conference, Motsepe told the media that Pinnick will be attending all the meetings of CAF as his advisor. Amaju was in the forefront in the nomination of Patrice Motsepe for the CAF presidency. He was once CAF first vice president during the dispensation of Ahmad, and ever since has seen his influence drastically go down the official sphere. His new position is a clear appreciation of his contributions to the game of football. As the Women Africa Cup of Nations 2024 begins in Morocco, Nigeria Super Falcons are poised to kick off their campaign against Tunisia on Sunday. With 9 titles to their name, the Falcons remain the most successful side in the competition's history and are once again favorites for the crown. Head coach Justin Madugu has expressed confidence in the squad's readiness and affirmed the team's winning ambition, while Captain Rasheedat Ajibade called on fans to keep supporting their mission.
I have said earlier, we have respect for all the teams. And because of that respect, we are not taking anybody for granted on the assumption that we have won all the previous games against them, and so we think it's going to be easy. No games will be easy games. We'll approach them with all the seriousness they deserve and all the respect that all the teams deserve. So we're prepared for the game against Tunisia tomorrow, just as we equally know they too are prepared against us. So everybody, the game tomorrow will decide what happens.
The players are looking forward to the start of this tournament, and we can't wait to show off that, the team, the talent, and also to put things that we're learning together on the pitch. And Yeah, so my word to the family back home in Nigeria, all our friends and supporters across the continent is please keep praying for us, keep supporting us. Our goal and mission here is to make you proud as always and make sure we do our best.
The funeral of Liverpool forward Diego Jota and his brother Andre Silva was held on Saturday in Portugal following their tragic death in a car crash earlier this week. The service drew widespread attendance from Liverpool players including Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson and Cody Gakpo, as well as manager Arne Slot. Former teammates James Milner, Thiago Alcantara and Jordan Henderson also paid their respects. Portugal's President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa and Prime Minister Luis Montenegro joined hundreds of mourners. National teammates Ruben Neves and João Cancelo flew in from the US after a Club World Cup match. A wake followed at a nearby church.
É uma tragédia, que eram miúdos de grandes valores, símbolo desta cidade, jogaram em clubes que fazem parte aqui todos dos arredores, mas acima de tudo foram dois seres humanos enormes. O Diogo mais conhecido pelo mediatismo e elevou o nome de Portugal e aqui de Gondomar ao mais alto nível, principalmente pela humildade, pela humanidade e pela seriedade, que é mais importante muitas vezes do que o mediatismo do futebol, porque há muita gente muito grande no futebol e como ser humano não são assim tão grandes. E ele era muito grande no futebol, mas muito maior como ser humano.
Eu sinto-me péssima. Gostava de poder dar um abraço à minha amiga, que é a Isabel, a mãe do Diogo Jota e do André, e ao pai, mas infelizmente não consegui isso. Mas agora, com o tempo, eu hei de falar com ela e hei de lhe dar esse abraço que ela tanto precisa agora.
In tennis, world number one, Yannick Sinner produced another devastating display to reach the Wimbledon fourth round without dropping a set. In his most one-sided victory of the tournament so far, the 23-year-old outclassed 52nd-ranked Spaniard Pedro Martinez 6-1, 6-3, 6-1 in just 1 hour and 55 minutes under the center court's roof. It is the fourth consecutive year Sinner, a three-time major winner, has reached the last 16 at the All-England club, where he is chasing the first Wimbledon title. He is the only player in the men's draw yet to drop a set, losing just 17 games across the 6 sets he has played and not once having had his serve broken. Roger Federer previously held the record for the least games lost in the first 3 rounds at Wimbledon, which was 19 in 2004. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I am Udoka Njoko.
And that's all at this hour, but then we look at our top stories before we go. Senate has held a public hearing on the 1999 Constitution across the 6 geopolitical zones. South-South APC has endorsed President Tinubu 4 governors for re-election. We also told you that 9 people have been killed and 11 others injured in a road crash in northern Egypt. Do send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. You can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.